The man who does not act violently when crossed is the one you should fear most. Anger is loud and immediate. Control stays silent and patient. They learn early that showing weakness invites attack. The brain processes social exclusion through the same neural pathways used for physical pain. When someone is provoked, the amygdala triggers a rush of emotion that demands immediate release. Most people obey this signal. They explode, they react. They give away their position, their plan, and their power in a single, uncontrolled moment. The dangerous man does something different. He feels the same surge, but locks it down. He smiles when betrayed. He nods when disrespected. He walks away when provoked. This is not forgiveness. This is calculation. Every insult gets recorded. Every weakness gets archived. Every movement gets stored. Time becomes his sharpest weapon. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex lights up during rejection the same way it does when someone breaks a bone. This creates an urgent craving for closure. Most people feed that craving instantly. The calculated man withholds it completely. He leaves the other person's nervous system spinning in uncertainty while he remains untouched. That asymmetry is where real power begins. People assume silence means peace. It does not. Silence often means the weapon is being loaded. The man who masters his own violence does not waste it on small moments. He feeds it with discipline. He waits for the perfect opening. When he finally moves, the strike is precise, cold, and final. Consider how the human mind handles uncertainty. The brain hates ambiguity more than almost anything else. It will invent stories, make bad decisions, and expose itself just to resolve the unknown. The man who stays silent exploits this flaw perfectly. By refusing to react, he becomes the uncertainty. The other person starts obsessing. They replay the moment. They wonder what he is planning. Their mind does the work of destroying their own peace while he moves on untouched. This pattern appears again and again in power dynamics. The person who reacts emotionally hands over their leverage. The person who stores the emotion keeps all the leverage. Evolutionary psychology shows that dominance hierarchies reward those who can delay gratification. In ancient environments, the man who could control his immediate impulses survived longer and rose higher than those who lashed out. Modern environments work the same way, only the weapons have changed from spears to strategy. When a co-worker mocks an idea in a meeting and then says, "Relax, it was just a joke," most people feel the sting and show it. The calculated man does not. He notes the tactic. He sees the test. He understands this is an attempt to make him feel wrong for reacting so they can control the frame. Instead of engaging, he stays silent. That silence plants a seed of doubt in the provocateur. The provocateur now wonders how deep the response will go. The power has already shifted. Strategic ignoring triggers the Zeigarnic effect in the other person. The brain remembers unfinished business with far more intensity than completed tasks. By refusing to close the loop with an emotional reaction, the silent man turns himself into unfinished business. The other person's attention becomes currency paid directly to him. Meanwhile, he invests that same attention into planning. Loss aversion makes this even stronger. Humans feel losses roughly twice as strongly as they feel equivalent gains. When someone crosses the calculated man, they have created a potential future loss for themselves. The silent man simply lets that awareness grow. He does not need to remind them. Their own mind does it constantly. Every day that passes without explosion increases the imagined size of the coming response. This is why the quiet man feels dangerous. People sense stored violence even when they cannot name it. They feel the pressure of something held back. Their nervous system goes on alert. They start making mistakes. They overcompensate. They reveal more than they should, all because the other man refused to give them the immediate reaction they expected. Look at how dominance works in any social setting. Status hierarchies depend on visible submission or visible challenge. The man who gives neither breaks the expected pattern. He becomes unpredictable. Unpredictability is a form of control. The other players cannot build reliable strategies against him because they lack data. Every non-reaction is data they cannot read. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive function and impulse control, becomes the real battlefield. Those who master it weaponize time. Those who cannot master it become slaves to the moment. The calculated man trains his prefrontal cortex like a muscle. Each time he chooses silence over explosion, the pathway grows stronger. Each time he stores the energy instead of releasing it, his capacity for future control increases. Intermittent reinforcement explains why this approach works so well on others. The brain becomes addicted to unpredictable rewards or punishments. When the response is unpredictable and potentially severe, the other person stays hooked, trying to figure out the pattern. The silent man never gives them enough data to solve it. He remains the variable they cannot control. Real-world situations show this pattern clearly. A business partner betrays a deal. The emotional man confronts immediately and loses strategic ground. The calculated man thanks him for the information, adjusts his plans quietly, and waits. Months later, when the betrayer least expects it, the consequences arrive through channels the betrayer cannot trace back. No shouting, no drama, just precise results. This extends to personal relationships. When disrespected by someone close, the loud response destroys the relationship immediately. The silent response plants long-term doubt. The other person begins to question their own safety. They sense something has changed, but cannot see the shape of it. That uncertainty erodes their position over time far more effectively than any immediate fight. The psychology of revenge shows why delayed action carries more weight. Immediate revenge satisfies the avenger, but often fails to maximize damage. Delayed revenge allows planning. It allows the target to lower their guard. It allows the punishment to land when the target has the most to lose. The calculated man understands this. He does not want quick satisfaction. He wants maximum effect. Attention as currency plays a central role here. Every emotional reaction spends attention. Every moment of silence invests it. The man who refuses to spend keeps building his reserves. Others around him keep spending theirs trying to read him. Over time, the imbalance becomes overwhelming. He sees everything while they see only what he chooses to show. Scarcity principle makes silence even more powerful. Humans value what is rare. Emotional explosions are common. True calm under pressure is rare. When someone demonstrates that rare calm after being crossed, it signals something unusual about their capability. Others instinctively treat them with more caution. The calm itself becomes a threat because it implies deeper resources. Psychological reactance explains another layer. When people feel their freedom is threatened, they push back. The loud man triggers reactance immediately. The silent man triggers it more subtly and more persistently. By not engaging, he leaves the other person unsure whether their freedom is actually under threat. That uncertainty creates its own pressure. The other person starts fighting shadows. The shadow self, that hidden part of personality that contains all the unacceptable impulses, gets integrated differently by the calculated man. Most people deny or explode from their shadow. The dangerous man studies it. He feeds it discipline. He turns its energy into focused power. This integration gives him access to forces others fear in themselves. In any dominance interaction, the first person to lose emotional control loses the frame. The calculated man never loses the frame because he never enters the emotional game. He stays outside it watching. This outsider position gives him perfect observation. He sees the patterns others miss because they are too busy reacting. Time itself becomes an ally. The longer the delay, the more the other person's imagination fills in the blanks. What starts as mild concern grows into anxiety. What starts as anxiety grows into fear. The silent man does not need to do the work. The other person's mind does it for him. Each passing day compounds the effect. This approach requires something most people lack: genuine self-control, not the fake version people display for social approval. Real control that holds even when no one is watching. That level of discipline separates those who survive power games from those who become casualties. The ultimate pattern reveals itself when you study those who rise highest in any field. They share this trait. They remember everything. They react to almost nothing. They strike only when conditions guarantee success. Their violence stays stored until it can achieve maximum impact. This is not weakness. This is mastery. People who explode early reveal their entire playbook. They show their triggers. They show their limits. They show their lack of patience. The calculated man reveals nothing until the moment it no longer matters. By then, the game is already decided. Understanding this changes how you see every interaction. The person who stays too calm after disrespect is not weak. They have simply chosen a different battlefield, one where time and planning favor them completely. The deeper truth goes beyond single incidents. This pattern creates an entire way of moving through the world. The man who has mastered stored violence carries a different presence. Others feel it even without evidence. They adjust their behavior around him. They become more careful. They give him space without knowing exactly why. This presence comes from the internal knowledge that he can wait as long as necessary. That knowledge radiates outward. It affects how he speaks, how he listens, how he occupies space. Nothing needs to be performed. The reality does the work. In conflicts that span months or years, this patience becomes decisive. While others burn out from constant emotional expenditure, he conserves energy. While others make impulsive decisions that create new enemies, he makes none. While others forget details, he remembers everything. The cumulative advantage grows enormous. The brain's reward system reinforces this behavior once it proves effective. Each successful delayed response strengthens the neural pathways for patience. Each avoided disaster from immediate reaction strengthens the aversion to emotional display. Over time, the calculated approach becomes the default setting. Those who never develop this skill stay trapped in reactive cycles. They create enemies faster than they can handle them. They exhaust their resources on small battles. They signal weakness with every uncontrolled response. Their power remains limited and fragile. The difference is stark. One path leads to constant drama and eventual collapse. The other path leads to quiet accumulation of advantage until the position becomes unassailable. The choice reveals itself in the first moment of provocation. Most choose reaction. The dangerous few choose memory. Beyond individual encounters, this principle shapes entire structures of power. Organizations, movements, and societies all respond to the same psychological mechanisms. Those who master silence within these structures often end up controlling them. They outlast the loud voices. They outmaneuver the impulsive players. They inherit the field once everyone else has exhausted themselves. The stored violence never truly disappears. It transforms into something more refined. It becomes strategic vision. It becomes unbreakable focus. It becomes the ability to see 10 moves ahead while others fight over the current square. This transformation marks the transition from merely surviving power dynamics to mastering them. People sense this transformation even when they cannot explain it. They describe certain men as having presence. What they actually sense is the weight of controlled potential, the quiet knowledge that any provocation can and will be answered at the perfect moment. That knowledge changes every room the man enters. This is why the man who does not explode deserves careful attention. His calm is not empty. It is full of everything he refused to waste. Every bit of energy that could have gone into shouting instead went into planning. Every bit of attention that could have gone into defending ego instead went into understanding the other person's weaknesses. The final layer reveals the most uncomfortable truth. Everyone carries the capacity for this kind of power. Most choose not to develop it because it requires facing the shadow self completely. It requires accepting that mercy is often just fear wearing a nicer mask. It requires choosing long-term dominance over short-term comfort. The calculated man makes that choice without hesitation. He does not need approval for his methods. He does not need understanding from those he surpasses. He simply needs results. And results come to those who can wait longest with clearest vision. Never mistake silence for weakness again. Sometimes the shield is simply a loaded weapon waiting for the perfect moment. The man holding it has already decided when that moment will arrive. You will not see it coming. You will only feel it when it lands, and by then it will be far too late to react.